is Monday, the 17th of November, 2025. And of course, we're counting down to Election Day. 2 weeks away. On the 1st of December, 2025. I am your host, Ika Fergus, and the red table will be running, starting from today up until the 28th of November, just a few days before Election Day. The red table is a talk show which most definitely was created as an avenue for the SLP candidates to have a one-on-one session where they can discuss their role and agenda in the St. Lucia Labour Party and, of course, their plans in the upcoming election. The show is on from Monday to Friday from 7:30. And my guest today, who unfortunately is not able to be here with us, with me physically, but we will definitely be able to have a chat with him via the telephone. My first guest will be the Honorable Mr. Shawn Edward, who served as Minister of Education, Sustainable Development, Innovation, Science, Technology, and Vocational Training. And of course, he is the parliamentary representative for Dennery North. So keep it locked in to Radio Caribbean International. The Red Table continues after these.
Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for home affairs, crime prevention, and persons with disabilities. In the last 4 years, we've seen the implementation of a minimum wage in St. Lucia. We've seen the increase in pensions to individuals. We've seen the most laptops given. We've seen the most scholarships ever given. We've seen the most support given to St. Lucia Fire Service. Most resources in terms of vehicles and equipment given to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. We've seen the Youth Economy Agency, where now young individuals can turn their hobbies and skills into viable employment opportunities. We've seen the most support given to young people in this country. Real care, real protection. That's progress you can count on.
My name is Moses Jean-Baptiste, Minister for Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs. This is how we revived the St. Jude Hospital Reconstruction Project. When we took office, the St. Jude Hospital Reconstruction Project was stalled, just promises and empty shells. Today, the St. Jude Hospital Reconstruction Project is fully on the way. Very soon, by the end of this year, we will have a completely rehabilitated St. Jude Hospital with new facilities, new equipment, new surroundings to serve the people of St. Lucia. Real results, not just talk. That's progress you can see and trust.
Good morning again. Satlisi, bonjour, Satlisi. This is the Red Table on Radio Caribbean International, the Caribbean Sound. I'm your host, Ika Fergus. We'll be here with you until about 7:45, 8 o'clock. And the Red Table, just a reminder that you know the Red Table is a talk show which was created as an avenue for the SLP candidates to have a one-on-one session where they can discuss their role and agenda in the St. Lucia Labour Party. And of course, you know, their plans for the upcoming election and moving forward. The show begins today, Monday, 17th November 2025. Starts at 7:30 and of course will run up until the final days before December 1st. My guest today via phone call, I will be calling him in just a moment. Mr. Shawn Edward served as Minister of Education, Sustainable Development, Innovation, Science, Technology and Vocational Training, and also is the parliamentary representative for Dennery North. So I'll be asking him some questions based on his portfolio and what's happening. And of course, we'll be getting some great insight into what's happening this morning. So keep it locked in. Let's take in right now, I believe the number one campaign song. Shawn again. It's Shawn again. And you've just heard It's Shawn Again, definitely the number one campaign song for the parliamentary representative or the candidate for Dennery North, and of course Minister of Education in the outgoing SLP government. He is going for his fourth consecutive term in office. And of course, the slogan in his campaign is Shawn again and again and again and again. So this slogan definitely shows power and continuity. So right about now, I have Mr. Shawn Edward on the line. Good morning, Mr. Edward. You are live.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you feeling today?
Ika, there seems to be an issue with the connections. I mean, I have to literally place the phone on my ear to hear you. Notwithstanding, I have it in speaker mode.
All right. Can you hear me better now?
There's no real difference,
Okay.
But we'll have to make do with what we have this morning.
But we can hear you loud and clear on the air, which is important as well. Hello?
Is it okay if you call me? Probably hang up and call again.
Should I try? Okay.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, that's better. That's much better.
You can hear me?
I can hear you better now.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So I adjusted myself. Wonderful. Okay, so today we are speaking to Mr. Shawn Edward, and of course he is going for his 4th consecutive term in office. So, Mr. Edward, it's all about Shawn again and again and again. So tell me, what is the atmosphere in Dennery North? What is the atmosphere with you personally as far as, this campaigning is concerned?
Dennery North is usually a very highly charged constituency, particularly on election time. I think that the Labour Party has done exceptionally well in recent elections to mobilize its base. And this time around, quite apart from mobilizing our base, we have done well to attract persons who would have supported the UWP in previous elections to our fold. And this is auguring very nicely for a 4th consecutive victory in Dennery North for the National Labour Party and Shawn Edward.
Okay, wonderful. So, Mr. Edward, tell us about your achievements as far as your constituency is concerned, and of course your proudest moments in the last 4 years. What you have been able to initiate from your brain to literally to the people.
Let me say that. Let me give you a chronology of events and put the achievements in a historical perspective. I gave up my teaching job in 2011 when I taught at the Dennery-based Clinton Basin Memorial Secondary School in Dennery. And I replaced Damian Greaves as the St. Lucia Labour Party's candidate in Dennery North. As you know, Damian Greaves would have served 2 terms as the MP for Dennery South, whilst Anthony Torrance was the MP or the Labour Party representative in Dennery North. And in 1997, they both won their seats handsomely. But in 2001, Anthony Torrance was not successful, and there was a switch that had Damian Greaves. In 2006, there was a switch that had Damian Greaves to come and contest in Dennery North, and he wasn't successful, having been defeated by Marcus Nicholas. And so there was a void as far as a candidate for the Labour Party was concerned at the time. And I was approached, and I must tell you, notwithstanding, I was always a staunch supporter of the Labour Party. I thought this was the most ridiculous thing that had ever been said to me when I was told that I would probably have to be the candidate. As I said, notwithstanding, I was a staunch supporter of the St. Lucia Labour Party, but no way did I imagine myself being the candidate. And so when I was approached, I put up a lot of resistance. Fast track, I moved from being a classroom teacher to a minister taking an oath in the parliament in record time. The Labour Party was successful in the general election of 2011. Dr. Anthony, in his wisdom, thought that I had enough to actually run a ministry, and so he created the Ministry of Youth Development and Sport, because prior to 2011, the Youth and Sports portfolio was an appendage to either education before, and then in the UWP administration, it was a department in the Ministry of Social Transformation. And so when we came in 2011, Dr. Anthony gave that particular portfolio full autonomy and full ministerial status. And so I was placed in the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports. As the parliamentary rep for Dennery North, we did quite a bit of work. A lot of work had been done between 2011 and 2016. A lot of roads were constructed, public infrastructure rehabilitated, assistance to farmers, educational support We created a nice program to look after the elderly, and that was part of a national program which Denry North benefited from. And throughout all of this, we were thriving as a constituency. Then we went to the polls, notwithstanding the Labour Party would have lost the general election. I was able to hold on to Denry North in 2016. And this is when I encountered some difficulty, and perhaps the most difficult passage throughout my entire political career, because there was a deliberate policy. It was institutionalized, where MPs who had won their seats, notwithstanding they had a right to be in the parliament. There was a deliberate policy on the part of Alan Shastny and his administration to not give us a penny. We had no access to state resources, and therefore we could not have made any interventions. We could not have executed projects. We could not have helped our constituents, and we were relegated to being bystanders in the whole scheme of national development. And when we stood by, we were able to see and watch, of course, our counterparts on the other side roll out projects and project after project after project in Ancillary, in Denry South, in all of the constituencies that were held by the United Workers' Party. And that was a very disconcerting period when an elderly person can come to you with a prescription and they need some help to just get some medication that they badly need, that you just could not meet it because you had no access to state resources. You couldn't have made an intervention to buy a sheet of plywood for an elderly person whose house was compromised. You couldn't have made any intervention. You just had absolutely no access to state resources. And this was coined as the Belrose Doctrine in local political parlance. And I suffered at that. But I was able to hold on to my seat again for a third time. And as we came in, I found that there was a huge deficit of work and projects to be executed. And so I had to get to work almost immediately. I have not achieved everything I'd set out to achieve during this term. As I said, I had to deal with the backlog and then take on some of the new initiatives. But I'm happy with where I'm at today. I think the people of Denry North are happy with my representation. I think the Honorable Prime Minister Philip J.P. is happy with the portfolios that I shoulder in his cabinet. And I think the Prime Minister has demonstrated his confidence in me in a number of ways. For instance, it was his responsibility to chair the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, the CDMA, for 2 years. And when you're the chair of CDMA, you basically provide oversight for disaster management matters across the English-speaking Caribbean. And when Prime Minister Pierre assumed the chairmanship, he immediately wrote to CARICOM and said to them that he will not be the one to actually provide that kind of leadership to the CDMA, and that he was entrusting those responsibilities to Shawn Edward. And I can tell you without boasting that for the 2 years I chaired the CDMA, I mean, the reviews were very positive. And again, I think I would have justified the confidence that the Prime Minister placed in me. On 21 occasions when he has left the country, he has written to the Governor General and sealed to the GG that in writing that Shawn Edward ought to be responsible for the affairs of the country from the apex of Pigeon Island way to the bottom at Mulashik, from north to south. So these are it has been a wonderful experience in the main. And just to into the question that you asked in terms of what has stood out
at least
for me,
one of the physical
for me the most important thing is the interventions we've made in the realm of education and training in Denry North. And there's a misconception in local political circles that one works only after he has delivered infrastructure projects, concrete and steel. There's been no shortage of that in Denry North during this term of government. But what really stands out for me and probably gives me the greatest thrill is when I go through the list of individuals from Denry North who are today accessing higher education and for whom higher educational opportunities have been provided. No fewer than 60 higher educational opportunities have been given to young people in Denry North. And I'm talking bursaries, SAFA, and probably 35 university scholarships in one term of government. And prior to 2021, if you were to go back to independence for the 41 or how many years it is, prior to 2021, we had not gotten 20 university scholarships in Denry North, but we have been able to double that in this term alone. The concrete and steel The infrastructure projects are necessary. They are something that we tout as politicians as achievements, but for me, is when I wake up in the morning and I know that there are young persons from Denver North who are in Taiwan, who are in Morocco, who are in Serbia, who are in Hungary, who are in Cuba, who are all over the world pursuing higher education, that had it not been for the intervention of the parliamentary rep and this government, their parents would not have been able to sit before a loans officer and borrow $200,000 for the children to have gone to school to become the professionals they want to become and to serve their communities and their countries in the professional capacities that they would have dreamt of. So I'm extremely pleased with that intervention. And I think this is going to impact our community tremendously, because when you look at it, we were at the center of the green gold era when the banana revenue was substantial. I mean, we brought in a lot of money into this country through our exploits on the banana fields, and that money never really went into training and education. And since the demise of the banana industry, you notice that there has been quite a challenge for a lot of families that are heavily reliant on remittances, where you have families in Martinique, in the UK, in the US, who, whether it's via Western Union or other means of transfer, have to take care of their families. I believe that if we are to achieve any form of sustainable employment in the community, in the country, we have to make telling investments in education and training, and that is what I've been able to do to complement the university scholarships and the bursaries SUSA offer. I have already ensured, or have paid for over 300 people from the Mabuya Valley, from Denver North, more than 300 of them, to enroll in CVQ programs, be it electrical installation, cake decorating, plumbing, tiling, those skills that would cause them to have a CVQ, that would basically prepare them for immediate immersion into the world of work. The water project is another one that is very, very close to my heart. Yes. We had a chronic water problem in Denver North. It was twofold. It was an issue with quality as well as supply. And for many, many years, even decades, parliamentary reps would come, governments would change, and pronouncements were being made about improving the water situation in the Denver North constituency. But nothing really materialized. But during 2011 and 2016, during the Dr. Kenny Anthony-led administration, the Honorable Alva Baptiste, Minister for Foreign Affairs at the time, who still carries that portfolio in the Philip JP administration, he went to an OAS meeting in Guatemala, and he was able to convince his foreign affairs counterpart from Mexico to lend support to the Denver North Water Redevelopment Project. And so the Mexican government agreed and gave us a grant of $5 million US, which translated to roughly 13 million EC dollars for the Denver North Water Project. Upon realizing that this amount would not have been sufficient, Dr. Kenny Anthony approached the Caribbean Development Bank, the CDB, and he took a loan in the amount of $22 million to basically complement what we had gotten from the Mexicans for the Denver North Water Redevelopment Project. The government changed, the United Workers' Party came in, and they continued with the project. And today you will see on UWP paraphernalia, or you would hear on their platform, that the Denver North Water Redevelopment Project is an achievement of theirs. This is a falsehood. There's no truth to that. This project belongs to the St. Lucia Labour Party, but most importantly, it benefits the people of Denver North, and I happen to be one of them. I live in my constituency. I live the experiences of my constituency. I don't have to travel into the constituency to get an appreciation of what my people are going through or what their sentiments are on issues, whether they're positive or issues that have an adverse impact on their daily affairs in constituency.
Okay.
Moving forward, I am poised for my fourth consecutive victory, and this is not me boasting. My statement is predicated on the fact that I have been with my people from election day 2021 to today. I did not desert them, and I'm making a re-entry, as it were, because elections are on the horizon. So when you see me rolling, as we say, with um, with 5-ton trucks and 2-ton trucks loaded with people, because minibuses just can't do it for me in terms of moving my people. There's no magic to that. This is just a partnership between myself and my people. They trust me. They believe in me. I have been a constant in their line of vision from day one, and they know that with Shawn Edward, with Philip J. Pierre, and the Labour Party, that their circumstances in life can be much better than what they would have experienced between 2016 to 2021. And they know that we were punished. They were denied resources. And that is simply because they went into the various polling stations in Denrinoff on election day to support Shawn Edward and the St. Lucia Labour Party. My people are resolute people. They are hardworking people, and they will not sway in terms of their allegiance and affiliation to the St. Lucia Labour Party. I also want to profit the opportunity on your show to thank all of the United Workers' Party supporters of the previous election period who have not just come over to support me and the Labour Party, but are openly expressing their affiliation to the Labour Party, to Shawn Edward and Philip J. Pierre, and this current election cycle. So I feel good about my chances. Having said that, I will not allow complacency to creep into my camp, into my setup. We will work hard until the final ballot is counted on the evening of December 1st.
Okay. So, Mr. Edward, I hear of it sounds like you have some great plans. If you are re-elected, you have some big plans for your constituency. And just to wrap up, just a curious question. I know you are not necessarily in charge of the ministry that you get, but if you had a choice, would you continue in education?
Well, I'm a team man. I would have, given a chance, I will serve anywhere that the Prime Minister wants me to serve. But even before you can speak to a preference in terms of portfolio, the one thing I have control of to an extent is what happens to an extent, as I said, on election day, and that is to put things in place to ensure that I win my seat. When I win, I get into the parliament at the behest of the people of Denrinoff who have voted for me. Being a member of the cabinet is entirely the purview of the Prime Minister, and he decides, first of all, if he wants you in cabinet or if he has a different role for you. And if you are in the cabinet, the Prime Minister decides which portfolio that he assigns to you. So I do not want to preempt the Prime Minister. All I will say is that I want to win my seat first and foremost. And after I become available, I'm at the disposal of Philip J. Pierre, the Honorable Prime Minister, that he will be again, and the Prime Minister will make a determination in terms of where. Given that he has worked with me in opposition, he worked with me in government before, and now he's my leader in the political sphere, I think he has a pretty good appreciation of what I can do, my competencies, my skills, my strengths, and then he will make a determination in terms of, if he wants me in education, I will continue in education. If he wants me in human services, I'll be the best human services minister St. Lucia has ever seen. If he wants me in the Department of Labor, I will go there, and I will carry my A game with me. But the ultimate thing is that I just want to be of service to the people of Denrinoff and to the people of St. Lucia.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shawn Edward, for chatting with us on the Red Table this morning on Radio Caribbean International. Do have a splendid day, and of course, wishing you the best.
And Anika, can I just very quickly remind St. Lucians that on election day, the 1st of December, that voting is a civic responsibility that they must take seriously, and that they have to vote for the St. Lucia Labour Party and ensure that Alan Shastney never gets elected to be Prime Minister of this country again.
Thank you very much. And do have a great day, and of course, wishing you the best on December 1st.
Thank you so much. Have a good day yourself.
And this has been the Red Table on Radio Caribbean International, the Caribbean Sound. Just a brief show, giving you the latest information. Creating an avenue for the SLP candidates to have a one-on-one session. Let you know what's happening, what they have done, what they are about to do, their plans, and of course their role and agenda in the St. Lucia Labour Party. could join me again tomorrow morning. God willing, same time, same place, 7:30 a.m. for another Red Table. I am your host, Ika Fugas.